Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about something really important. Building a piece of gear that could, quite literally, save your life. But it's more than that. It's about giving you the confidence to handle pretty much any adventure you can dream up. We're talking about your personal EDC survival kit.
So, let me paint a picture for you. You're out on a simple day hike, right? The weather's perfect, it's supposed to be just a few hours out and back. But then, you take a wrong turn. Maybe you see an interesting animal track and decide to follow it for a bit. Before you know it, the sun is way lower than you thought, that clear trail is just gone, and you can feel a real chill setting in. The big question is, are you prepared for that moment? Well, that exact moment is where having a pocket-sized lifeline makes all the difference. And listen, we're not talking about lugging some massive 70-liter backpack on a simple day hike, no way. We are talking about a small but really powerful kit that you can just slip in your pocket or wear on your belt. The key thing to get here is that this isn't about being paranoid. It's about building confidence. It's about having the right tools to turn what could be a crisis into, just a problem you can solve. Now, there's a term for this. Experts call it first-line equipment. For most of us, though, we just call it our everyday carry, or EDC. All it really means is the absolute essential stuff you have on you at all times. So think of it like your immediate, go-to toolkit for when things start to go sideways and you need to get back in control.
Okay, so let's actually get into building this thing. The rule is, every single item in your kit has to earn its place. And the way we judge that is by looking at the key priorities of survival. Now listen up, because the order here is absolutely critical. It goes protection first, then location, and finally water. Let's break down exactly why that is.
All right, priority number 1, protection. And you can just forget all those Hollywood movies about fighting off bears, okay? In pretty much every real-world survival situation, the thing that's going to get you first isn't an animal. It's the environment itself. Exposure, whether it's getting too cold or too hot, can take you out of the game in just a few hours. So your first job always is to build a shield between you and whatever the weather is throwing at you. So how do you do that? How do you protect yourself? Well, it really boils down to 2 core things. You need to be able to cut stuff, and you need to be able to create fire. Seriously, with just those 2 abilities, you can build a shelter, you can make firewood to stay warm, and this is just as important, you can keep your spirits up. Fire is a total game changer for your mindset.
So when we're talking about gear, a good quality pocket knife or a multi-tool is completely non-negotiable. But now look at the fire starters. See how it says multiple fire starters? That's not a suggestion, that's a rule. It's a core survival principle called redundancy. You never, ever bet your life on just one piece of gear working when you need it. A ferro rod is great because it works even when it's wet. Waterproof matches, a solid classic. And hey, even a simple magnifying lens can be a lifesaver if the sun's out.
And look, once you get that fire going, you want to make it work for you. Building a simple wall out of logs or rocks behind it will reflect all that amazing heat right back at you and your shelter. It makes a huge difference. But you got to remember, fire is so much more than just warmth. It really is a beacon of hope. It pushes the dark away, it gives you something to focus on, a job to do, and that right there is what keeps your mind sharp and positive and stops you from spiraling into all those negative what-ifs.
Okay, so you're protected from the elements, you're safe for the moment. Now what? Well, your whole focus has to shift. Your next job is to get found. I mean, staying alive is awesome, but the real goal is to get rescued, right? And you have to be an active part of making that happen.
Now, you've got a few options for signaling. Sure, flares are super visible, but they're one and done, and honestly, they're kind of bulky for a small pocket kit. When we're talking EDC, it's all about getting the most bang for your buck. The most impact for the size and weight. And that's exactly where a signaling mirror and a good whistle just blow everything else away. A mirror can throw a flash of sunlight from miles. And a whistle? Man, that sound carries so much farther than your voice ever could, especially in thick woods or fog, and it takes way less energy.
And here's the single most important thing to remember about signaling. It's the number 3. 3 of anything is the universal signal for distress. 3 blasts on a whistle, 3 flashes from your mirror, 3 fires built in a triangle. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, this is a language that rescuers everywhere understand. It cuts right through the noise and says loud and clear, I am here and I need help.
All right, so you're protected, you're signaling for help. Now we come to our third priority, water. Look, you've heard this a million times, I know, but it is so important it's always worth repeating. You can go for weeks without food, but without water, you've only got a few days. It is the fuel that your body, and especially your brain, absolutely has to have.
And check this out. It only takes a 1 to 5% loss of your body's water for things to start going downhill fast. We're talking impatience, bad moods, and a serious drop in your ability to think clearly. So long before you even feel desperately thirsty, your decision-making skills are already taking a hit. And let's be real, in a survival situation, your mind is the single most important tool you have. Keeping it hydrated isn't just a good idea, it's everything.
So the question is, how do you get safe drinking water with just the stuff in your pocket? I mean, boiling is always the gold standard, but you might not be able to get a fire going right away. For a small EDC kit, you just can't beat the simplicity of water purification tablets. It's so easy. You find the clearest water source you can, drop in a tablet, wait about half an hour, and it's safe to drink. They weigh nothing, take up no space, and they can turn a dodgy-looking puddle into a life-saving drink. A modern survival straw is another great option, too.
Okay, so we've gone through the what and the why. Now let's shift gears and talk about the how. And I really want you to think about this differently. Building your kit shouldn't feel like some boring chore or like you're just prepping for the end of the world. No, think of this as a creative project. It's an empowering thing to do. It's all about building real skills and self-reliance.
And this right here, this gets to the absolute heart of what survival is all about. The gear in your pocket, it's just a bunch of stuff. The real skill is your knowledge. It's knowing how to use that gear, and even more importantly, how to improvise when you don't have the perfect tool. That's the magic. It's your brain, your resourcefulness, that turns a simple knife into a tool that can build you a home, or a plain plastic bag into a way to collect life-saving water.
So I want you to think of building this kit as just the very first step on a much bigger, much more exciting journey into mastering bushcraft skills. And this journey should be fun, right? Please don't just put these tools in a tin and forget about them until there's an emergency. Take them with you camping. Practice starting a fire with that ferro rod when there's no pressure. Play around with your multi-tool and see what it can really do. This isn't about prepping for disaster. It's about building competence. And the more competent you are, the safer and more fun every single one of your adventures will be.
So, we're going to end with a question for you to think about. What's essential for your adventure? The kit we just walked through is a fantastic starting point for sure, but the best EDC kit is always going to be a personal one. Are you usually hiking in the dry desert or up in the cold mountains? Are you near the coast? You have to think about your specific environment. Customize your gear and get started building that pocket-sized lifeline that's going to give you the confidence to go out and explore with total peace of mind.